Hello everyone, my name is Simon. I'm here to do a book review on the innovation secrets of Steve Jobs. So, Carmine Gallo's book, The Innovation Secrets of Steve Jobs, is basically a playbook for thinking differently. So, it breaks down the philosophy behind Apple's massive success into seven core principles. It basically gives us a sneak peek into what Jobs was seeing. So, the book argues that Jobs wasn't just a tech wizard, but he was also a master at understanding human nature, which I totally can see. Given all the talks and announcements he's done, he gets the crowd riled up like no one ever has. It's like something unique that he has. So the book also challenges us entrepreneurs to stop selling basic utilities as just utilities. Stop selling things as just is. Or stop selling things as just things. And start selling dreams. So while reading the book, I couldn't really help but reflect its lessons through my own technopreneurship journey with our project Oris. So the first principle is all about passion, doing what we love. So Jobs believed that if you follow what you love, then success will also follow. So it made me stop and step back and think if Oris, the fashion app, is really what I want to do. It's like really my passion. I just recently discovered fashion. I wasn't really into fashion before. During COVID times, all I wore was like what a jogging pants and a shirt. And before that, all I wore was like school clothes and home clothes. That's all. Nothing much, nothing stylish. But ever since like after COVID, I met people. I traveled around. I discovered my sense of passion, my own way of how I want to present myself. So in the end, I realized that yes, I do like it. I do like fashion. There are definitely other hobbies that I might rank higher, like Valorant, but like building this platform is still something I genuinely enjoy and care about. So the second principle is about vision, right? Jobs talked about dreaming big and seeing the final destination clearly. So he talked about seeing yourself on the end point, like you're already there and you just have to show it to other people. So like it creates a strong vision, and that strong vision is what attracts people to your cause. You have to let others see your vision so that they can join you. Honestly, this is something I haven't applied enough. I guess that's exactly why my group members had such a rocky start. Destination wasn't just like clear to everyone, and I only showed them like part of the destination. I didn't show them the full destination. I didn't give them the idea behind this app. So this made moving forward really difficult. So third is the need to kickstart your brain. So Jobs argued that creativity is really just connecting dots between different experiences. So if you ever stare friend at a standard software, then all you'll ever get is standard things. So for Oris, I knew I wanted to do something with fashion. So virtual try on, right? But a basic virtual try on app would be like really boring. As is. Like just VTO. What's the difference within other things? So to stand out, I took inspiration from how modern users interact with data. The swiping swipe. It was really trendy before with Tinder. So I took that and created Oris, which is basically a Tinder X virtual try-on swiping app. So it's like a fresh connection of two different worlds that I haven't seen anyone do before. So yeah, I guess that's like my idea behind Oris, which is like Tinder X VTO. So the next principle is we must sell dreams, not products. So when someone drops like cash on a high-end gaming setup, it upgrades it over the years. They aren't just like buying hardware. They do it because they're buying the dream of hitting like let's say Radiant and Valorant, or maybe even going pro someday. So with Oris, we aren't just selling an AI algorithm or 3D scanner. We're selling the dream of like absolute confidence in yourself and in what you're wearing. So we're selling the feeling of never being insecure about how an outfit will look, and a dream of accessible and sustainable fashion that actually just fits you and you alone. And then moving on to the fifth principle, we are So the fifth principle is saying no to 1,000 things. So this one hits close to home because of our recent panel defense. Originally, with like when designing orders, we fell into the classic trap of like put everything inside, max it out with features, you know. So it's like feature overload. So I realized that we had crammed way too many features into our pitch, and the panelists were like understandably confused with what our main feature is. So they kept asking us, "What is your main feature? Like, what is the solution to the personas issue? So what is the benefit of our app? You know?" So this completely changed my perspective on product design, teaching me that good design isn't about how many cool features you can code into the back end. It's about what you are brave enough to cut out. So you have, of course, you can have like lots of ideas for an app, right? But you can't fit all of that inside. So you have to think what's essential and what's not really that essential, and you have to cut out those not essential things to keep the essential things elevated. You know. So simplicity is like key. Only the absolute necessities should only stay. So by saying no to all the unnecessary clutter and stripping down the app to just our core, which is like scan, swipe, sustain. So our design shifted from being complicated to a sleek, focused product. So it made me realize that simplicity is actually the ultimate sophistication in design. So we have to be a focused product, not just a generalized product. We have to focus more on being focused. So the sixth principle is about it's about creating insanely great experiences. So every single move a user makes inside or outside the app determines their impression of it. It's all about making the whole journey feel completely effortless. Based on this principle, the one insanely great feature we need to prioritize on our Figma prototype is the swipe to fit interface, because that is our main selling point. So Steve Jobs obsessed the need to prioritize the obsessed rather over eliminating friction, like replacing a bunch of confusing buttons with simply iPod scroll. So for artists, we need to do the exact same thing. With a Tinder style swipe, instead of forcing the user to click through drop down menus for sizes, color variations, and add to cart, stuff like that. Clunky e commerce app, the swipe gesture should be the entire shopping experience, you know? So if the user can seamlessly see their 3D twin, swipe left to reject an outfit, or swipe right to automatically save the perfect fit to their digital wardrobe, any clicks, that is intuitive, coherent user journey. So it turns boring shopping chore into like a fast, fun game. So lastly, Jobs tells us to master the message. So we must tell a compelling story with our app. So for artists, mastering the message means shifting the narrative away from the industry's like wasteful cycle of buying and returning. Thus, I believe right now the return rate related to fashion is 60%, which is really huge, and it's sadly a huge waste also for our resources. So we need to shift the narrative away from that and into telling a new story about empowering the everyday shopper. So if I had to offer a critique on the book, it would be that it can get a bit repetitive, especially with all the stories in between and about how these people relate to this and how these people are like jobs. But like in the end, it still has a really good point, and it's really a good lesson for people who aren't really into college yet, so that they can discover themselves before they go to college. I never really got the chance to discover what I wanted, what was my passion for college. If I feel like I've told this story multiple times already, but the the way I got into college was this, or the way I enrolled was this. I asked the cashier what course would fit me best, and then she pointed me over to CS, and then that's how I chose this program, which is which was because of me basically not being sure of what I wanted. So now here I am, not really sure on how I feel about it. So I guess I'll rate this book a 4.5 out of 5. Even with the repetitive nature, it's still a fantastic book, a practical read that actively reshaped how I view my own startup and how I plan to build products in the future. Basically, it's a good book to discover your passion with, you know? So, yeah, that's it. I hope you guys liked my book review, and thank you.